Will AI put programmer out of the work? Almost all work of program is already almost automated in the form of everything you get by app, get efficiency. A very large part of the remain is which cannot be automated. Modeling real world business is process in terms of the system of automation which is available. Program is modeling activity which is about phrasing sequences of able level action to represent a process. If AI system generate code, that program become the sequence of AI prompt which are here then are just a natural language like buzzing programming. Even that the world of significant amount of technical skill required to ensure command are sequenced correctly. Yeah, it's correct. It's one of the main factor that will differentiate between a programmer that is going to help out you through generative AI or these other technologies. Even in that, the world of significant amount of technical skill is required to ensure command are sequenced correctly. The code is correct. It is same for AI. The replace the process. It would not only have to be agile but also agile full embedded in human social world of the process were are modeling. In another life In other life, I designed workflow that could be picked up by the offshore team to execute the actual work. My observation was that a lot of my colleagues had not appetite for reasoning about the process, which much less thinking through various edge cases to make sure that the work was done correctly and covered enough cases to useful workflow with low incident. Color or spectacle, what I am convinced will see an AGI that can solve business problem without killing the proverbial cat without loss of babysitting. So is programming the business of copy pasting from Stack Overflow or a business of solving problem? So is programming is business of copy pasting from Stack Overflow business of so both. But you are missed is you still putting some devs out of the work you and solving business problem is absolutely one of the AI right now. So give them a few years, it will solve that too. I remain convinced that a huge swath of legacy industry that the pandemic source of the being big stuck in the past when digitalization being buzzword through around 2020 world industry that though working on 21st century entitled emailing CSVs to each other working on physical desktop. I don't think this type of slow moving companies will one of these leap frog of the jumping all in AI. Moreover, I believe that software development is still growing strongly and I'm actually quite interested that happen to nature of the work 10 to 20 years down the line which most today kids who will have able to sort of code and become the hybrid worker. How trader went from shouting on a floor to being a quite numeric accountant went physical work to Excel till wet to AI might displace labor but not lead to reduction of software labor demand in the next 10 to 20 years at least. Oh, big statement by the guy. The comment aptly summarized that why I hate most modern programming job. This is not programming. This is not what I mean. I signed up in the computer science school, modeling real world business process in terms of the system of automation which is available. In other words, program is analogy. Program is always a modeling of real world process. If you want to program directly off a CPU, it is that device which provide you with operation primitives which are use sequence perhaps the means you have prefer model more interesting process. But if you mean algorithm design isn't programming, algorithm aren't program and operation that will sequence are abstract. CSCI algorithm design is more geometry. A program is empirical design. It uses the geometry of system almost never modeling. My immediate guess is that these kind of the tools will greatly enlarge the productivity gap between the junior and senior developer. Yeah, senior devs will able to they already are to generate code at first boilerplate and gradually more complex code and effectively work as a planner passive reviewer. Similar way to how some companies just hire legions of juniors with architect senior guiding and reviewing their work. The problem with the flow is I think that it completely disturbs the junior to senior pipeline. Senior role might be valued up even more than today, but reaching that stage or simply entering market might become more difficult. I feel my career is pretty safe, but I am not sure about someone joining in the industry from now. Yeah, that's I also Or this is interesting that ChatGPT seems to be very well at doing what it told, but it never be explicit requirement supervision to discover missing requirement. It is junior developer that could put junior developer out of the job, just like a glass terminal put many data entry and server room operator out of the jobs. I agree with this. This AI tool have caused not a junior productivity to skyrocket as a result of eliminating almost every instances of needing a check documentation and stack forwarders for easy question, in addition to providing most of the annoying boilerplate code. Since I own expert opinion on whether the output is correct or satisfactory, I can quickly freeze through verification of the output and make correction as necessary. Yep. As provided as your new command, the path is becoming able to provide this expert opinion involve years of performing precisely that task is getting rid of. My guess is that eventually see more kind of higher degree boot camp that accept people with junior baseline skill take them senior level, since learning on the job might become less feasible. Different opinion by different people. My experience known programmer like not able to translate. My experience known programmer like not only able to translate concept to code but formulate these concepts in first place. Ask someone who isn't a software into guide developing a single you do the actual coding. They just tell you that you want to happen. You will find that most people are unable to describe even high level action in the form of coherent and procedural sequence. Even the best code generating AI won't solve the problem, since it cannot generate useful code if the operator cannot articulate with what they are actually need. Agreed. The mark of senior developer is ability to decouple concept and synthesize concept appropriately depending on the context. You need to have a highly developed critical thinking skill in order to formulate appropriate solution to the problem. When the developer does isn't so different what entrepreneur does. They spend most of their time explaining their vision and goal. The difference is that the developer vision and goal is a much more granular and detailed. Not what AI is able to understand what non-programmers try to accomplish. It will do it. Then we had to automate the non-programmer first? Of course not. For the same reason why companies pay 2,000 per day for an experienced consultant when employed theoretically build the same stuff in the minimum base. Sometimes mistake are the expensive. They can need to people who can why you doing AI may be kind of with a card better than other generator, but they have too significant amount of money depending on the software working. Nobody is going to ChatGPT without a human code review. But ChatGPT code is typically over lengthy and complicated, just like a who would produce then make an expensive slow code review. That's why in the end cheaper overall to skip all higher professional. It's excellent for menial programmer tasks like fill up database with dummy data and generate wall upload code. 2 3 I it couldn't even generate code. 2 3 from now it will be different. Yeah, historically many approaches to AI have been shown excellent early result, but plateaued. There is no guarantee that if the pro continue have a major improvement in the result. There is also no guarantee that it won't. How this supposed to give some comfort? This question wasn't just about ChatGPT through, it's sort of improved as next decade is the last decade. It will be hard to any technology to justify high having thousands of developers. Yes, what in experience a small and high skilled team already compete. These firms right now working in IT consult after 2 week course has been unsustainable. We are like to get a great 90% of current software without any meaningful reduction productivity. Should I worry? Think that the AI will be able to job of average program anytime soon? Yes. If you want, if if yes, what is your estimate? For 5 to 10 years will be noticeable decrease in number of programming job as we know them today. And how would they you try to AI proof your career? Historically, tech changes end up leaving a small rump of niche-based practitioner, blacksmith, servicing, riding a stable and racing yard, while the majority either exit the industry, take up skill set for new technology. The future-proof AI against it's either by niche and shrinking market or changing skill set. In terms of the skill set, without artificial general intelligence, there is going to be need to someone to translate human requirement to something that machine sophisticated, understand and verify the result. That sounds very much like some behavior driven development. As a niche, there is a lot of complex, ill defined but essential COBOL, PHP, Python system floating around. Verifying a new translation, getting it's expensive. Good specialties, keeping those existing system ticking along is likely to will think long enough to make a career from. No, what tech consolidation probably will take is following in the same footstep as the American car industry in the 50s. Just like vertical integration in auto industry killed off auto startup ecosystem, vertical integration tech industry will kill of the tech is. This isn't because they won't be demand for innovate new startup won't able to innovate, but because control of core platform will allow a bigger player more to cross sell some more company having tried coin. There are different kind of overview, or can we say different kind of point of view given by different having toyed around ChatGPT a week now. I already used to sort of code assistant, what much like how Copilot work. How good the result are depend on how good you are constructing the queries. A bit like a Google. Some people have only the most basic knowledge, while other can find pretty much because you're really good at writing queries. Now imagine how it going to be 10, 15, 20 years from now. The future model will probably call a chunk of depth, while good devs will even more efficient. But who know, maybe this will actually help some medical program to focus their energy on other thing, like taking on other roles. Take me an example. I'm rock star programmer. I see programming as a means, it's just a tool. I would much prefer to focus on actual business logic and feature as a product, maybe even long time strategy. If tedious coding was removed, that would be make me happy. Okay. We credit ChatGPT Copilot, but they are able to generate the code for a more capable version of themselves until we hire. At this point, I think most jobs are safe, whether we get to the point or not. I used to apply for a joke answer to the question like these along the lines: wake up and we start delete bad code instead of writing more. I too don't follow AI space closely, but I had a time imagining it doing anything of the sort. I probably can't even remove a bug in travel program. Probably the opposite technology trigger hunger of complex system. I don't know how to latest stuff and open will impact career of average programmer. But regarding the last question, how about you try to AI proof your care, learn to program from the first principle? Yes, it is like an AI can learn to glow code from stack overflow soon. Harder program that require you to do with thinking seem more harder program that require you to do bit of thinking seems future proof. These models aren't good at thinking at all. Instead, they just pattern match and glue in previous solution. Thus, next new model away. AI researchers see it as burning the world down to see what come to our TV. So this absolutely is a goal. How do you learn to program from first principle? In humble opinion, my accent talk about the first instruction, although he doesn't use the first principle as and MC as a surface to about the game engineer, but they are generalized to everything. They're oriented design. Best a lot about investing wills. The lower level, the better. Ultimate example would be writing your own OS and other stuff. No practical outcome of immediate problem. In 5 to 10 years, generally available tool assembling ChatGPT will able to over 90% of the program was, but the remaining time will remain AI complete. The AI complete with a stuff of regarding reading a set of instruction, realizing that one of the instruction doesn't make sense given another guy, pushing back. I'm looking through an upgrading MD file to see how API change, releasing the thing that wasn't there. Funnily enough, I just asking ChatGPT what it would be do. It's unlike that AI will complete research. I already read about that. I'm working on the startup engineering product image. I think not fundamentally differ from how most software engineers work. The why, business leadership to some context product determine the goal for engineering. A large part of the work involves creating process, logical reasoning about business. You are so There is a post on Twitter comparing this question affect calculator mathematics. Comparing this question to the effect of calculator on math, which make some sense. I believe that AI will reduce the amount of code software developer write, but writing code is least important. I think the most important thing about will sometimes contradictory. AI will hypercharge us, but we'll still need some of what we are doing. Polygons globes will be more common. Increase the importance of understanding framework. More time of doing crappy AI written code. Demand for software development increase. This is the time to market and cost will go down, making more project viable. I think 15 minutes has passed in this video. We'll see you next time. According to myself, what I think about this is that it will replace some kind of junior developer, not all kind of developer, but it automate the process or work done by the junior developer for sure in coming 5 to 10 years. And we will see a large amount of people, we can say a large amount of people, a large amount of people in tech industry will vanish down. Can be a junior developer, but some kind of developer we are required in order to review the code, in order to see what it's doing, what it will replace some kind of mediocre or junior developer. That's it for the video. We'll see you next time. Till then, keep moving.